in this video, I'm actually going to be breaking down two trades that I caught last week. USDCAD and EURUSD made some major moves last week, and I was able to take advantage of part of the moves, right? So I'm going to be breaking down how exactly I caught those moves, or how I anticipated for those moves to happen, how I got in and how I got out. Okay, so let's go to the charts. Okay, so let's start with EURUSD. This is the 4-hour time frame. This area was my entry. After the close of this candle, this was my exit. Okay, so let me go on to a clean chart so I can actually do a fresh breakdown for you guys. Remove drawings. Okay, so I basically started off of the daily time frame. I'm going to delete the price movements for that time period. Starting off of the daily time frame, we can clearly see that price is in a bullish situation, right? So price is bullish, it's what we can see. So I would identify my zones. We have this zone up here that price tested off of in the past, and for more immediate price action, we had a zone here, okay, on the daily time frame. Okay, so whenever I see an impulse like this and a retracement happening, the next thing that comes to mind is a potential impulse happening again. Okay, yes, so this was the daily time frame. Now going down to the 4-hour time frame, what we can see here is basically a retracement happening, and this is still our zone. What I was anticipating is for price to actually break above my zone, retest, and continue to the upside. So this is what I was anticipating for, right? So if this move does not happen, I would not be getting into the buy trade. So I was just watching, watching the charts to see how this move would actually present itself. So now the next thing that happened was the 4-hour time frame immediate trend happening right now, or in this moment, basically broke structure at this point. Where's my tool? Broke structure at this point, right? So structure got broken, or let me use the rectangle. So structure got broken, so basically indicating that price would soon make the next higher high. That's what it's indicating. So now my next question in my head is, how am I going to get into this move, right? So what I would anticipate, because I need a good risk to reward, I would need price to come down either to this zone or back to this particular zone here in order to continue upwards. So I kept watching, because what you're doing as a trader is you're literally just waiting. You're basically a professional waiter. Yes, so at this point, price actually came back down here and actually rejected yet again. So at this point, I basically was ready to go, right? I was ready to go. I went down to the daily time frame. I went down to the 1-hour time frame to actually see the price action that was printing, and it basically indicated that price failed to go lower than this previous low. Okay, you see this low here, it did not go past this point. So identifying that factor in addition to this bullish momentum basically indicated that it was time to buy. So that's how I got into this trade. Long position here, SL right underneath the zone, target up in this zone that we marked out initially, right? And I got into the trade, and it literally just played out after a little bit of drawdown. Okay, and literally played out. Okay, so let's look at USDCAD next. So let's get out of the bar replay mode. So looking at USDCAD, this one came so close to my SL for my initial entry, but that's why you always have to place your SL beyond the area of fluctuation. Okay, so let me go on to a clean chart. USDCAD. USDCAD. Okay, so this is USDCAD on a clean chart. Starting off of the daily time frame, so let me delete the move that I actually caught. So starting off of the daily time frame, you can clearly see that price is going down. Okay, that's what we have on daily time frame. So the next thing is we have to identify our zones. So on here we can see multiple touches in this zone. So then if we go down to the 4-hour time frame, the next thing we can see is basically similar, right? We have a zone here, but I like to just draw it out just a bit more, because the zone is not a particular price point, it's an actual zone, so it's an area. So price came back into our zone here and started to reject, right? We can see the 4-hour candles, they began to lose momentum in this zone. So what I was doing at this point, right, because price is at my area of interest, so the next thing to do is to wait. Okay, wait for indication to enter. So I basically waited and waited and waited. So price basically went deeper, right, into the zone, and we have a nice pin bar at this point. We have a nice pin bar, basically indicating that sellers have come into the market to take the market to the downside. So I waited for the next candle. I needed a bearish candle to actually go underneath here, right? I needed a bearish candle to actually go underneath this structure right here, and it did, right? It really broke the zone, but I was not going to enter all the way down here just because my risk to reward was not going to be pretty. So I decided to wait for another pullback, right? So I waited and waited, and I got in at the close of this particular candle here. This was my short position tool at this point. My SL was close to the previous wick, right? And my target was all the way down somewhere there. So at this point, I was in some drawdown on this trade. Okay, I would admit I was in some drawdown, but I also understood that price was only going back to this zone. For my trade to actually be invalidated, the price would actually have to continue, right? So that's why I have my SL up here. So I already accepted the risk on the trade, right? Because as a trader, you always have to accept your risk, always. When price was in drawdown, I literally just left it to be. So a new day actually started, and I was still watching the price action. So watching the price action, right, on the 4-hour time frame, we have this nice bearish candle. We can see that there is no wick to the downside, basically indicating that there is a lot of selling momentum at this zone yet again, right? So if you are going to re-enter the trade again, then you would want to wait for some more bearish movement. Okay, so we have a bullish candle, and then we have 3 bearish candles again. So this is basically a bearish pattern indicating that sellers have come back into the markets to push the markets to the downside. So at this point, price was already back close to my entry. I had no fear. Okay, so I basically was expecting for price to continue to the downside. So if you get out the short position tool back at my initial entry, my SL was basically at this point, target all the way down. So I basically stayed in the trade, right? I basically stayed in the trade and watched it play out. Okay, so this is why you have to manage your emotions as a trader. Like, if when price went into drawdown, I became so emotional, I started panicking and I closed my trade, I would have missed out on this nice movement right here, right? So first things first is I accepted my risk on this trade, and second thing is I kept looking at the charts and not at my P&L fluctuating. I was not looking at that. I was basically watching the price action that was printing and anticipating for, you know, just watching to see what's going to happen next. Okay, so that's basically how I capitalized off of EURUSD and USDCAD last week. So in this new week, I'm already anticipating a couple of moves that I'm going to be discussing in the live session that I'm going to have this evening, live on YouTube, so we can see the next move for the week. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see you guys in my next video.